Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You know, one of the four is an NDC member of Parliament. And I can state without equivocation, and I would invite ECHO to do same, that on the NDC Parliamentary Caucus platform, as soon as he declared himself and filed, and the notice of polls came, it was put on the platform, and he was asked, is this true? He came with an explanation of why he thought he had to go independent.
Is that Memphis Central?
Yes, Pitaka. And then, I think it was either Ayerga or Roxon, put the constitutional provision of 97 on the page. The gentleman on his own exited our platform.
He exited your WhatsApp platform?
Yes. Because 97 says the member shall vacate as soon as he does it. And since then, Peter Kwacheaka has not come to Parliament to sit with us or anywhere else because he recognizes what the Constitution says. The Constitution says once you do so, you vacate your seat. 97 is clear, it's unambiguous. And that's why we keep saying the Speaker did not declare anything vacant, because nothing rests with the power, within the power of the Speaker to declare anything vacant. That vacancy is occasioned by action. In 97, 1 G and H, the Constitution is clear that you do this,
this is
the consequence. So it's as though it's the same way the Criminal Offences Act to say, if I take Professor Jampo's phone without his permission, it constitutes theft. I don't need anybody to explain. Once his permission was not sought, and once I have acquired it for my own use, it is theft. And look, you may like Justice Atuguba or not, but his scholarly exposition this morning on what is going on in the courts should cause for introspection and reflection by any true lover of this country and our democracy. That look, where we sit as a country, and look, it takes a lot for a judge of his caliber to make these comments publicly. Let's not take it for granted. It is also important that we recognize the comments that have been made by Sophia Akufo. What, so Sophia Akufo is also peeved?
I'm saying so, but he is peeved for not being seated.
No. The former
make your point.
CJ, the one who picketed. No, that's Sophia Akufo. Yes. Yeah. Again, she was CJ. She's been speaking.
And she's a Akufo-Addo's relative.
So at the end of the day, when people are speaking, it is important that those in power pay attention. Let me say once again that the logic or lack thereof in the argument by the majority leaves us with a cause for worry.
Okay.
But I will stand at this juncture to respect the exposition of Lovelace JSC and Amadou Tanko JSC. It gives me hope that there is still some modicum of common sense left at the courts. Again, the point must be made here, and I would give you evidence that the Chief Justice is only interested in pleasing the whims and caprices of President Akufo.
Why say that? Why?
First and foremost, the Chief Justice, we all know she was not the most senior person on the courts to be made Chief Justice. President Akufo jumped people and made her Chief Justice. And so to please him, at the last bar conference, when they spoke about President Akufo-Addo, this same President Akufo-Addo who has destroyed this economy, being a legacy president. What legacy is he leaving?
He said he's the best.
He said he's the best.
So like what?
President Akufo-Addo has made it clear that he doesn't want to sign the LGBTQ bill. The Chief Justice has single-handedly ensured that the bill doesn't go before President Akufo-Addo.
But if this case is going to be heard on Tuesday,
Chief.
Tuesday,
listen,
they've given the reasoning that the reason for the delay is because
I have lawyers
the AG
here. I have lawyers here. No,
and the speaker's
Alfred,
lawyers haven't filed.
Stop.
But you know this, don't you?
Stop regurgitating.
You know this.
Stop regurgitating the
Mr. George,
excuses.
you know this.
The excuses that make no common sense. Look, and today the takeaway word from this panel is common sense. Look.
But that is the decision. In fact, that is the explanation they gave.
I am telling you that the Chief Justice is lying.
Why?
When the Chief Justice writes to multimedia, and I've seen the letter because the Chief Justice copies me in the letter to multimedia, where they write to me, they wrote to multimedia saying that you granted interviews to me on certain issues and I made, and they are setting the record straight, and they copied me in that letter. And I'm saying that the Chief Justice is lying. When the Chief Justice says that the case before the Supreme Court on the LGBTQ has not been fully heard, and so she cannot pass judgment, the injunction case, which is the reason why Parliament cannot transmit, has been fully heard. The Chief Justice on her own decides that even though injunction case has been heard fully, she wants to hear the substantive case before she will rule on the injunction, effectively placing an injunction on Parliament without saying so. And that is the reason why today the clerk has held back until the Speaker's recent declaration that he should resend it. The clerk is saying that because the Supreme Court has not ruled and the Chief Justice intentionally has not ruled. So it is not true that the LGBTQ case, the injunction has not been heard. All arguments have been made. All the positions have been completed. All that is left is for a declaration by the Supreme Court. She's failing to do that because she doesn't want to put. She is supporting President Akufo-Addo to support LGBTQ, and it is a shame that the Chief Justice stands in church at ICGC in Tema to preach.
So no,
and she's not willing to walk her talk. And listen, let me tell you something.
Let me
tell you something. No, it's not about going somewhere. Look, today we are speaking for this nation and we are telling the truth. The Chief Justice is simply seeking to please President Akufo-Addo.
What's your point? Because you're just...
And my point is that the Chief Justice is seeking to please President Akufo-Addo. And President Akufo-Addo and Lawyer Martin Kpebu makes the point that President Akufo-Addo has an axe to grind with some people on the bench. Yeah. Do you know, as we speak right now, they brought 2 judges that Parliament, but that's not the reason they are forcing for us to come, approved to the Supreme Court from the Court of Appeal. Who are the 3 most senior people on the Court of Appeal today?
Thank you. Senor Jamefe.
One of them.
He's the most senior.
Senor Jamefe. He's the most senior. Justice Senor Jamefe. Yeah. He's the most senior. The second one is Justice Dennis J. Yeah. The third is Justice Subare. These 3. Because President Akufo-Addo doesn't like them, and I'm saying it without equivocation, because he knows that they will not do his bidding like the CJ is doing. He has decided to overlook them and has promoted several of their juniors. President Akufo-Addo has bastardized the institutions of state. He's over-politicized the Supreme Court, and we must call the president out and his accomplices in the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice. So look, I am stating emphatically that look, Afenyo rant, there's an East African proverb that when a thief tells you to go to court, it's because his brother is the judge. Afenyo comes from Winneba, the Chief Justice comes from Winneba.
How is that related? What's the meaning of that?
There's a Winneba connection going on there.
How?
And that's why the Chief Justice is playing this game.
How do you prove?
And that's why the Chief Justice is playing the game she's playing.
How has that reflected in anything?
Listen, it has reflected in the fact that the Supreme Court has purported to give a majority ruling. That is of no consequence. Look, this is the first time you have a Supreme Court. Someone has come to you saying that give me 4 declarations. In fact, seeking 4 reliefs. The first one is for you to make an interpretation. Subsequent to your interpretation, they want you to grant reliefs to them. That prevents the Speaker or any officer of Parliament, in this case the Marshal of Parliament, from preventing. Because listen, the Speaker can recall Parliament. Yes, the Speaker can recall Parliament and issue an instruction to the Marshal to prevent those 4 MPs from coming onto the floor of the House. And that is what Afenyo went to court seeking. Okay. Now, the Supreme Court claims to have given a ruling, but the ruling does not give them those reliefs. So there is nothing on the Speaker preventing the Speaker. And that is why, once again, I say, thankfully to God, all hope is not lost. The dissenting judgment by Lovelace JSC and Justice Abdullahi Tanko gives me hope that there is still common sense on our bench.
I have to go for a break. When I come back, we'll focus on this matter quickly. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7. Also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com. A number of your messages have come through on this particular issue, which we will get into right now. Now, Nanaya says that we must all develop that instinct of, you say, speaking truth to power and demanding that the right things be done. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that this nation, it says, remains and moves forward. Thank you. This one here also, it's quite a lot. Mansa Musa, thank you very much for your message. This one is asking of Bobby Bunsen here to leave us at some point, and then also Vincent Asifua, thank you. Musa Abatwa in Aswasi, I'm not a lawyer, but our constitution is not written in Chinese. Applying the law without practical, you say, reasoning undermines its purpose. Article 97 is clearly the conditions under which a member, you say, of Parliament must vacate their seat. Thank you very much. This one here from Lord Denning, you say, says, good morning. I just want you to ask Sam George, since he's been making the point about they intentionally delaying this case. The Supreme Court will hear the anti-gay suit on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the lawyers of the Speaker and the Attorney General are the ones who haven't filed their processes. And so this matter cannot be blamed essentially on the Chief Justice. I think that's the question that I was asking him as well on it. Thank you very much. No, you already asked I asked the question and you responded. So there's really no need to have you respond again. I acknowledge the many of you who have sent us, in fact, 4,963 of your messages. I thank you very much for sending them. And even though I couldn't read all of them, but Council, but let me just quickly say this, that this morning I've been clothed by Cobra Clothing. It's the best version of you, and Professor Jampo, your request has been duly heard and will be granted.
Oh, so it's been heard in perpetuity. They always hear it, but they don't. Granted. But I wanted to make a few comments.
Yes. So, Cobra Clothing is the best version of you. Locate them on the Spintex Road, 18 Junction, opposite the Allied Oil Filling Station, ground floor, same building within the Ghana Made store. Contact Cobra Clothing for this and many other nice apparels on 0244 238 341. That's 0244 238 341. Choose Cobra Clothing. It's the best version of you. You can reach them on WhatsApp as well, 0500 9099. I need to apologize that I couldn't read all of your messages. In fact, there are so many of them. This system got a bit jammed up. So apologies. Apologies for this.
Yes, I'm doing a program.
So, yes.
All right, so I wanted to say that, you see, so what the Supreme Court has done...
Let me say this, that Vincent Asifua also had to leave us to attend to a very important issue.
I wanted to say that, so what the Supreme Court has done, in my view, has not brought finality to the brouhaha, the impasse between the legislature and then the courts itself. I am expecting that we would act to ensure that Parliament sits to complete its term, and then let us find a decent way of going about this, because it appears that, look, all that have happened is a show of people's ego and the ego of some leaders of some political parties, in Parliament. And I'm thinking that if we have matured minds, if we had matured mind leading, this process, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are. It doesn't appear clear to me that Parliament is going to be reconstituted, and so it means the rest of government business is going to be suffering. And I am hoping and praying that in future, if the Supreme Court is brought into this picture in this particular manner, it would act in a way that would salvage or keep its respect and credibility that it has to maintain. You don't quickly jump into such matters that are purely political, such matters that you could have ordered Afenyo Markin to go consult his own or go caucus with his own brothers and sisters in Parliament to resolve. You jump in, you see, Asurubwa, one of your you see, if the bird that stays up always wants to come down to eat, okay, it is a trap that is down that would catch it. So if you quickly jump into these matters, okay, then you will be tagged, and then all the bastions, will come to you. So Supreme Court, this should be a lesson to you. You have not resolved anything. You've rather deepened the crisis in which we find ourselves in. And I'm calling on other interventions to bring resolution, of this impasse. Well,
Dr. Kwame Asante sends a message. I need to read this very quickly. Apologies. You know what? Some George, you make your point in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just think that, look, the Supreme Court should have stayed away from this matter completely, should have respected itself and respected the separation of powers, and told Afenyo point blank in his face that this is not the forum. If you have any case, go to the High Court. Okay. They've taken us on a frolic of no consequence. But let me use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to Media General for the support that they are giving to us. I got a pretty good discount from Media General. We're doing Ningo Pram in worship.
Oh, right.
Next week, Friday.
Your worship.
Yeah, I mean, others did campaign launches and all. We didn't do a campaign launch. We went out, we've done our campaign, and we're pretty confident of a large victory for John Mahama and Sam George. And so on the 22nd, that's next week, Friday, gates open at 5 p.m. We're going to hold a Thanksgiving, a night of prayer, worship, and thanksgiving to God for peaceful elections, and pray to God that President Akufo is still president into the next election. God touches his heart so that we don't have another 8 innocent citizens die. But it's going to be a night of worship and prayer. Okay. And so everyone is invited to join us to thank God and lift up an altar for the peaceful elections, so that we don't see the loss of any Ghanaian life again. But once again, let me reiterate the call.
You have made your point.
No, I'm reiterating the call that I won't come to Parliament before elections, because we are 3 weeks away from the elections. Okay. Any attempt to recall us will be an exercise in futility. We won't come.
Okay. If I hope that's the position of your constituents.
Ghana begs.
But thank you.
We'll come back after the election.
Ghana begs.
So we can Parliament can be recalled after the 11th of December.
If you keep talking, we'll take our discount back.
What sort of Charlie lawyer, the guy, yes, please represent me.
An agreement is an agreement.
Sam George that's what I'd like to know. Sam George is a member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. Also to you, Martin Pebo, thank you. Professor Ransford Jampo, thank you. Vincent Asefua, also Justice William Atugoba, and retired Bobby Banson as well. I am Alfredo Kanse. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.